she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's working too. She's doing all kind of stuff because dad is gone. And so she's got a lot of stuff to do to take care of the young child. And so that's why we need to be there with them and for them. That's why we need to be there. Hey, it's all good. If you want to go in the rooms, it's okay to go in the room and shut the door for the babies. These rooms aren't off limits. You can walk in there. So it's totally okay. That's what the job is for the young women are to do. But we need to pick this up. Just like men aren't doing their part, women need to do their part, because the young women and the young generations being raised up in this generation are following culture.
That's right.
And they're not following the Word of God.
Amen.
They are to teach what is good, so you know that you are able to teach. And verse 4, and so train the young women to what? Love their husband. Now, we have young marriages, and you probably have friends and family that are a young couple. They're young, and they're young in love, and they're in marriage. As soon as a problem happens, what do? What does that young woman do as soon as there's a problem? After the first 6 months they've been married, everything was marital bliss. It was wonderful. But now it's just a little rocky now. And the first thing the woman does, instead of going to godly counsel, or maybe going to somewhere, they go to some other person and begin to complain about their husband. While it takes a young woman of God to listen to an older woman of God to teach them how to be a good wife. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. It says here in the Word. So train the young women to love their husbands, because when problems happen in a marriage, the young woman sometimes, and it happened a lot in this culture, when problems surfaces and things come up, they get angry and they run and become unfaithful. And they did that a lot in this culture. The young devoted wife is no longer devoted anymore. They run into the arms of another man. And so the older women are to teach the younger women the signs where they may be headed in that direction. Right. And it's easy to do that with today's culture with social media. Wife has a problem. Husband ain't saying she looks good no more. But let somebody on Facebook say she looks good. No. Oh, she's inboxing now. It's so easy to cheat in today's culture. But there's nothing new under the sun. That's right. Nothing new. What happened then is happening now. And it takes an older woman, a woman of respect and dignity, to go to this younger woman, this younger wife, and to say, what are you doing? I see what you're doing. You need to stop it. I'm going to show you what you need to do. I'm going to teach you how this works. It says to be self-controlled. It says, so train the young women to love their husbands and children. And children. When they begin to have kids, when mom has a kid, dad has a kid, all of a sudden they want to drop them off with grandma and grandpa. And drop them off all the time. And never come back and pick them up. And think it's okay. And think it's all right. Right, Julian, man, you get dropped off and you get picked up. You got good parents.
Hallelujah.
That's just the way it goes. Kids, you ever got dropped off because mom and dad had to have a night out? Yeah? But then they came to pick you up. Matter of fact, they cut the night off early just to go get you.
That's right.
And that's a good example. But there's women who are young, they're married, they have kids at a young age, and they drop their kids off, and then you're wondering, why? They said they were going to be back, and they said, why ain't they back yet? Then you find out you're spending the night, they're going to pick you up tomorrow. So you are taught, older women are taught to teach the young women how to be moms. A dad can't teach a daughter how to be a good mama. It takes the woman to do that. Because we got too much tough love in us. You're going to stay out all night, well then you ain't coming back. Shut the door, all that. You know how dads are. Except if you have a daughter. If you have a daughter that's different, we're going to go searching for you. But when you have boys, like I have boys, you want to be out all night? I ain't coming to get you. Whatever happens, I told you. I told you. It says, verse 5, to be self-controlled, pure, working at home. You know, in today's age, it's a wonderful thing for a wife to stay home and to take care of the family. Yes. But it's a beautiful thing, and that's how it was then. You know, to take home, they should take care of the family at home. And there's a lot of good moms that, if you have to be a working mom, you have to work. You have to do what you have to do to make ends meet. There's nothing wrong with that. But here it's saying for those who are home, to take care of their house, to teach the young wife how to be home, to take care of her house, have the house looking wonderful and beautiful, have the dishes clean, have everything made, everything, have a beautiful house. Right? Have OCD if that's what it takes. I don't know, but just clean the house up. That's what you have to be taught how to do. Young women, to love their husbands and children, to be self-controlled. Young women had a tendency never to be self-controlled, just like the older men could not be self-controlled. To have self-control, pure, working home, kind and submissive to their own husbands, that the word of God may not be reviled, which means not to be discredited. Women, young women, it's okay. You have to learn to be submissive to your husband. He is your head.
That's right.
He is your head. But I get your complaint, you young women and older women too. When you say, well, I do not want to submit to him, he's not even following the word of God. How do I submit to that? Guess what? You're still supposed to submit. You're still to submit so the word of God may not be discredited. So someone can't say, look at their marriage, but they can say, they say this, oh, he's a terrible man. He's not even doing his thing as a man of God and doing what he needs to do. But she certainly is. And she's still submissive to that. Still submissive to the situation. That speaks volumes to everybody else. But today's culture say, oh, she's just stupid. Today's culture say, oh, she's stupid. Father doing it. But no, you are supposed to be submissive to your husband, even if he's failing as a man of God. You stay submissive. You don't cheat. You stay submissive. You pray for him.
Amen.
And so this is all laid out for us. So the word of God may not be discredited. Verse 6. Likewise, urge the younger men to be self-controlled. This is a daily practice for the young men. And for young men, it's just as hard. Well, it's probably, I don't know, for young men, I remember what it was like being young, but it's probably harder even now for young men to be self-controlled because there's the access to the internet. To be self-controlled. Don't do something you shouldn't do as young men. Young kids who are here today, young kids, you are to have daily self-control. How do you do that though? How do you do that when all of you have been given a free phone? How do you do that? It's harder for you because when we were growing up and going to high school, we didn't have cell phones. Right? Somebody said we had beepers. We didn't have that. But you young people are to practice self-control daily, and so that you get a phone. How do you get a free phone? You know why? Because the company says, I'm going to get mom a phone and dad a phone, and guess what? Because you have two phones, I'm going to get you the third one for free. And so the third one goes to the daughter. Third one goes to the son. And so you have to practice daily self-control, because back then they didn't either, and they still don't do today, but it's even far worse today. Yeah. Because what you do on them phones, that's why we need to put blocks on them phones before you give them out. Amen. So they can't do anything that that their flesh will do. And don't act like mom and dad don't act like they can't do it, or that my son would never do that. Remember, we are totally depraved. We need Jesus. Our sinful thoughts are always running in our head all the time. That's why we need the word of God. Be sound in faith as older men, as Paul has instructed Titus. Young men, be self-controlled. How do you be self-controlled? Get involved in sports. In school. Do something at school to keep you active. Keep your mind from being the computer. Do some stuff at church, of course. Get involved with church. Have time with your friends and family, but it should be a productive time. And also, us as young men, older men, we need to mentor these young men. Every man here who's older should be mentoring somebody. We should be mentoring somebody and discipling somebody. And if you're not, then you better find somebody and start mentoring them. Amen. Because that's what you have been mandated to do. It's my job to tell it, but you know what? Pastor's doing it. Yeah. You need to do it too. Find somebody you can help. Talk to somebody. Take them out to dinner. Take them to Jack in the Box. Talk with them. Mentor young men. You know the road they're following. You know where they're going already. You already see it. You are, because you've been there already. Remember, there's nothing new under the sun. We've already been there and we've done that. Only thing that changes, really, I don't even know what has changed. The clothes seem to remain the same. Look, I wore this. I wore this in 1985, brother, We got to mentor young people. Mentor the young people. Speaking of the men need to do this very thing. Verse 7, show yourself in all respects to be a model of good works. And in your teaching, men need to teach, show integrity. Show integrity, meaning don't be teaching them something corrupt. Give them sound teaching instead of some corrupt teaching. And that's what happens when you're not getting sound teaching in church, and you're gonna teach your kid your own theology in your own way, and it's all twisted and wicked. And they go out there and you wonder why they're still messing up. But yet you come to church all the time. Have sound doctrine. I challenge you to even research what I'm teaching you. You should. You should go to the Word of God and read. Does it really say that? Did he say I'm supposed to do that? Because probably you're thinking that right now, because I just told you to go find a young man and mentor. Like, no, man, what? I'm going to research that when I get home. And sound speech. And sound speech. Verse 8. Sound speech, no profanity that cannot be condemned. You know how that is when us as men of God, as young people are here today, you young kids, you probably we're in shock that your mom who loves the Lord or your dad who loves the Lord may have said a foul word in the house. Shh, don't say nothing to nobody. Don't be telling pastor. Right? But sometimes that will happen. That's just who we are. We are sinful people, but we say, oops, forgive me, Lord. I didn't mean to say that. And then you clean it up and you don't do it. But if you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep cussing all the time, how do you expect these kids to respect you? Because when they come in the house of God, they see mom raising her hand praising Jesus, but she was cussing out the neighbor just last night. Because they look up at mom, you know, something sitting there and on their phone like, looking up at mom like, I don't get this. What? It's their fault. Have self-control. Watch your mouth. Why is it important? Because so that an opponent, who's the opponent? It could be an unbeliever, it could be somebody in church, or it could